Hi everybody, Cheryl and Lady coming to you from the Ladies Garden and Home. And today we're going to talk about something that you might not think is necessary, but your plants sure will appreciate, and that is fertilizing. So I hope you join us. So welcome to episode 5 of our summer gardening tips series. And today I wanted to cover fertilizing. Fertilizing is something that I always start out wanting to stay on top of, and then quite honestly, I lose track. Anyway, I thought it would be a good topic because right now we are in the almost midpoint between summer and fall, so midsummer. We're also 2 months away from our average first frost date, which in the last couple of years has gotten later and later. So we really do have a lot of growing season left to the summer. And it's very easy to take a look around your garden and see things that, we're harvesting and the growth looks good. And I'm not advocating over fertilizing, but it's really good at this point to give them a little zhuzh. And to give them that little extra zhuzh, what I use in the in-ground plants is this Espoma Garden Tone, and I've been using this for a while and I really like it. I do think that it makes a difference. And this Garden Tone, particular one, the urban vegetable food type, has 344 as its numbers. Now, what that means is there's 3% nitrogen, 4% phosphate, and 4% potash or potassium. Now, plants need other things besides those. Those are usually the 3 numbers that everybody tells you to look at, but they also need calcium, magnesium, sulfur. And so this has this stuff in it. And then for the containers, what I do when I plant up my containers is I give them all a healthy handful or 2 of this mixed in with the compost in the soil. But then to amend throughout the season, this is Agro Thrive. This is the same stuff that I use on my seedlings, only much more diluted when I'm starting my seeds. And I've talked about that in my seed starting videos. And this is a 332, again, 3% nitrogen, 3% phosphorus, and 2% potassium. Now, what I start out thinking I'm going to do is once a week. That doesn't happen. Just like this doesn't happen once a month. A lot of people make their own fertilizer, or they go crazy buying fertilizers for this particular thing, whether it's for blossoms, roots, this and that. That's very complicated to me, and I also don't have a lot of room in my house to store all of these, or I don't even have a woodshed to store all of these different types of fertilizers. So I would rather just go for something that is balanced. If you follow my channel, you know that I'm one that just likes simple. I don't like to overcomplicate things and get confused. So I just pour some of this in this bucket to make it a little bit easier to spread around. And then I'm just going to sprinkle it around the base of the plants. This will slowly release and break down and get absorbed into the soil as it rains or we water. I had just barely enough to make it around the garden. I'm going to have to order some more before I put in the fall plantings and amend the beds. And when I do that, I'll be adding compost. Anyway, on to the liquid fertilizer. So this calls for 4 ounces of the liquid fertilizer to be mixed into a gallon of water. I'm not bringing my measuring cups and spoons or anything like that out, so I'm just going to give it like a bartender pour. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this should be okay to get on the leaves, but I'm trying to water around the base. Generally, I like to use the liquid fertilizer if I'm using it in the ground after it's rained, because then if the soil is dry, there's a good chance that the fertilizer will just kind of stay on the top, not absorb in, and just evaporate. Whereas if the soil is already damp, you know, it can go straight down. But I'd like to call your attention to these pathetic leaks. Okay, following my pathetic onion harvest, uh, also a really great garlic harvest, so I did something right there. But anyway, the problem is I left these poor guys in a pot, figuring I'd let them grow on there and then plant them when I had room, which in theory was a good idea. The problem was they got so root bound that I had to kind of really like tear into their roots to get them apart, and I don't think they like that very much. But anyway, going back to fertilizing, so these are plants that really need some extra loving. They are starting to at least not flop over quite as much, but we want them to stand up straight. Some things that I'm going to water, including the hanging baskets, I like to use a watering can instead of the gallon container, just because it's a little bit easier for me to reach. Compared to these really lush looking pepper plants, these pepper plants are very puny. Some of them are starting to grow a little bit better, but I'm going to give them a shot of fertilizer as well. The liquid kind. I already did the dry kind. The only containers that I'm not fertilizing today are these potato grow bags, because I'm waiting for the soil to dry out and then I'm going to harvest them within the next couple of days. Behind this extremely large self-seeded marigold plant are 2 containers with cherry tomatoes. I fertilized all of the deck containers yesterday, including the things that I have in pots over here. But I'm going to show you how I fertilize the green stalk. I see a lot of people who have green stalks fertilize the same way they water, from the top like that. I don't do that, and I'll tell you why. It takes at least 4 gallons of water for it to really soak the bottom. I'm not going to put 4 gallons of fertilizer here, because where it drips is not necessarily where I want the fertilizer to go. Where I want the fertilizer to go is right here at the neck of the plant so that it can travel down and hit the roots. Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this episode on fertilizing as part of our summer gardening tips series. We look forward to bringing you some more gardening tips this summer, so I hope you subscribe and join our growing community here on YouTube. And from the Ladies Garden at Home, enjoy your gardening journey. Bye! Say goodbye, lady.